You are not going to believe this, but right as I hit record on this video, I get a message from one of my friends asking if I am going to do the annual recap video this year. Here it is. Welcome to the annual recap video. For those of you that don't know, once a year I talk about my reflections on the year that has been, my goal setting, what goals I hope to achieve from the beginning of the year. Did I achieve them? If not, why not? Do I even still want them? And I think, it's that time of year where we all tend to do that to ourselves. We tend to look back and go, these are all the things that I wanted to do with my 2024. Did I actually do them? So I'm going to share some of my lessons from 2024 with you in hopes that, maybe you learn something from them and they help you, or you can just relate and know that there's someone else that goes through similar things. So where do I start? This year has been full of ups and downs, but I have to say what is happening to me right now, like as I film this video, literally today, right now, is kind of changing my perspective on everything, on wealth, on career, on income, on happiness, on freedom, on literally everything. So I will get to that a bit later in this video. But first thing I want to do is I just want to reflect on 2024. I describe 2024 as the I made it anyway year. And the reason for that is because I ended 2023 in a pretty, I don't know how to describe it, just a pretty uncertain place. I broke up a business partnership that wasn't going well, and I wasn't sure how that would affect me, my career, my business. I was publicly disparaged, and I didn't stoop to that level and disparage back. And sometimes that can actually really go against you because people think if you're silent, you're guilty. And I wasn't sure if that was going to happen, but at the end of the day, you got to stick to your values. I can't stoop to that level and do that sort of stuff back. I didn't think that it was right. So I decided just keep your head down, keep working, keep delivering content that you believe genuinely helps people, and the right people will back you without needing to know anything. So that's what happened. And if you're watching, you're one of those people. So thank you for sticking with me. And that is why 2024 is my I made it anyway year. And I think that is a really important place to come from when you are thinking for yourself about what your year has been like, where you are right now, and are you where you envisioned that you would be? And if not, we can be really hard on ourselves as human beings, and we can feel like we haven't done enough. And I think when it comes to thinking about things like that, which is inevitable this time of year, it's really important that you start from a place of gratitude. That is something that I learned for myself when I was in my really, really horribly depressive state. You guys know how bad it got, but I genuinely hit really rock bottom. And the only thing that I had to kind of crawl my way back up from there was to just find something every day to feel grateful for. And it can be the tiniest thing. Sometimes I would go grocery shopping and get a parking spot easy. And I'd be like, thank you, angels, for the easy parking spot. Literally, you got to find it down to just the tiniest thing, and it just changes your frame of thinking. So whilst I haven't achieved everything that I wanted to achieve this year, I've done a lot of amazing things, and I'm very grateful that those things worked out. So that's where I want to start in this video, by talking about those things, because the more you recognize your blessings, the more blessings that come to you. So with that in mind, here's what I'm grateful for in 2024. I'm grateful that I made the hard decisions in 2023 and that I put an end to it before we went into a new year, so that I could have a fresh start with a little bit of a break and not have too much damage. So I'm grateful that I made that decision, because I didn't bring the karma of 2023 into 2024. The second thing that I'm really grateful for is I've made some really good business decisions this year. I have learned lessons from my prior businesses that I now know early enough not to take into this business if I want this business to have long-term success. That's how you grow, right? Like a lot of people will go through trauma, they'll go through bad things, and then they just want to live in those bad things forever and use them as excuses to stay in the state that they're in their life, even though they're not happy in that state. But it gives them an excuse to not have to try because they get sympathy being in this state. So I could have stayed in this state of like poor me with prior business failures, but instead I used the tragedies of those businesses to make sure I don't make the same mistakes now. And so one really small thing was I used to manage absolutely everything in my prior businesses. So every single person that worked for me answered to me. And that's exhausting. That is truly exhausting. So the lesson that I learned from that was you need middle management. You need somebody that is looking after a section of your business, as somebody that looks after another section of your business, and so on and so forth, so that you have less people directly reporting to you, and therefore you free up your time and you can get so much more done. So one thing I'm really grateful for this year was promoting people within my company that I felt were ready to step up. I promoted someone to operations manager, now oversees my entire tech team, deals with the day-to-day running of the business, deals with the admin side, deals with the scheduling. It's fantastic. All of these little daily tasks that sometimes would just pile up to be so much that it would end up becoming a day or a week's worth of work that I would have to smash out because of deadlines that would then stop me from doing what I'm actually supposed to be doing, what is my role in this company, which is content creation and trading. I couldn't do those things, and those should be my only two jobs. So bringing in an operations manager was such a good decision that really freed up my time and allowed me to do that, and it allowed me to do a lot of other things too, but I'll get to that in point 3 of what I'm grateful for. And then the next thing that I'm grateful for that is same thing along those lines was I found someone in my organization that I could just see had majorly accelerated his trading to absolute professional standard. And I could just tell because I can see now, having been a trader for so long, I know when you have genuine success, and I know when you are able to actually take money out of your trading profits and actually spend them in the real world. And I could see that something had switched in this guy, and he hadn't said anything, but I could just feel it. And as a result, just everything about him accelerated. I decided to ask him if he would mentor the rest of my team to bring them up to that level. And luckily, he said yes. And that was not only a great decision because it showed him that I recognize his growth, but also that I believe in him. But in addition to that, when I told the rest of my team, I could see that it also elevated them because they now know that my goal here is, not to keep them under my team and doing as I say or whatever, like that's not it. I truly am on this earth to help as many people as I can create genuine financial freedom in whatever way that means for them. And that has to include my team. They're the closest people to me. When I told them that this is what I had asked and he accepted, I could see that they then saw that I was willing to invest in them. And I'm doing that purely for their own future. This is a skill that they will walk away with for life, whether they're part of TTC or not. So I think that has really just changed the dynamics in such a positive way, and everybody benefits from that. They're getting more closely mentored. The community gets better service and more people of a higher standard, and just everything. It just improved everything. So point number 3, which ties back to 1 about getting the operations manager and freeing my time up, is I'm grateful that finally, after years of terrible health issues, I decided to make my health a priority, because that's not something that Capricorns do. Capricorns are all about wealth creation and career, and that always comes first, and usually other parts of your life suffer. And for me, it was my health. There's many reasons why. Some people know a little bit. Like, I think if you've watched me for a while, maybe not on YouTube, I'm not 100% sure, but on Twitter and 100% definitely for sure in my Discord community, a lot of people know I've really struggled with my health in 2024. But it's like the end of a really bad road, you know? This isn't 1 year of health issues. It's 25 years. And this year was the last straw. This year was the point where I said, enough. I don't want to live like this anymore. So many people, you know, who are, I guess, professionals in different parts of the health industry tried to offer help and advice without knowing really what's going on. And I know they do that out of love and also giving back. And I think that's really beautiful and I appreciate it. But I also know that I'm a really special case, you know, and I've been going through this for 25 years and I didn't really talk about it until this year because I had to. I don't want to drag people down with my problems, but I felt guilty because a lot of the time I will suddenly get struck with something and I don't know it's coming and then it just comes and then I have to disappear because I can't get out of bed. And I feel guilty because I know people want content more often and I physically couldn't do it. And so I felt like I owed it to people to let them know that I was not okay physically. Enough's enough though. Like I have to figure it out because for 25 years, doctors have told me there's nothing you can do. Like you just have to live with it. And it just got to the point where I just didn't want to accept that anymore. You know, I just didn't want to accept it. And I've moved to a new country a year and a half ago, and I've been dealing with this with Australian doctors for decades. And I thought maybe I should give it a go in this country. Maybe the healthcare system is different. I don't know. All I know is I can't live like this. Like the pain just got too great. And it's like what I was saying before about how I hit rock bottom before I figured it out and became wealthy. Like I hit rock bottom financially before I'd started taking trading seriously and then creating this life that I have now where I'm financially abundant and free. The same thing then had to happen with my health. And so I hit a really bad rock bottom to the point that I was traumatized. I was too scared to wake up and go through that pain one more day. So I found help. And anyway, in the end, I am better, you know? And that feels great to say. I'm not 100% yet, but I've made a deal with the universe. You know, I said to the universe, we're getting better. We're finding the right people to help. We're doing whatever it takes, which I've been through 450 million tests and I'm done with the tests now, which is good. I'm in the treatment phase and I've made a deal with the universe. Whatever this is, purge it for the rest of the year. I'm okay with that. If I have to go through excruciating pain, you have until December 31st, 2024 to do it. And I'll put up with it. And that might mean that I am very flaky with my content. And that's okay. Like if people can't forgive me for that and they choose to go elsewhere, I understand because I would probably get annoyed with that too. But other people will stand by me and eventually it will be better for everyone. But you've got until December 31st, 2024. After that, there's no more. I refuse. I can't live like this anymore. The good news is that every time it strikes and I'm debilitated, the debilitation is less than the time before. So to me, I take that as mending and I'm grateful that I finally took my health seriously because it's never really been a focus my entire life. So I'm glad that it's finally become a priority and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that my body is responding positively to treatment and that it's better every day. I'm grateful that I'm also now building a social media team because, you know, it means in those moments where, you know, I'm not coping, there will be someone on this channel that can continue to make content until I'm okay again. And, you know, we've introduced Pedro to the channel and we've got Janet as well. And same thing, Janet is a person who's been in the Discord taking care of my community for years. And it's time that the world sees her, you know. Her trading skill is outstanding, and I want more people to see that. And of course, I'm grateful for you guys, for the people that watch this content, that watch this channel, that continue to watch, even when sometimes there are weeks that I can't put anything out. And I hope now, if you didn't know before, I hope you now know why that is. And my goal is to get better really for you guys, so that I just don't let you down, you know? So those are the major things that I'm grateful for. And, you know, look, like I said, you got to start, if you're going to start thinking about the year that you've had, you really need to start in gratitude, because gratitude grounds you. But then, you know, reflection pushes you to grow. So here's where I think I fell short this year. Number one, like I had a goal. I had a number goal of how many people I wanted to get into TTC. And I fell short of that. I know why I fell short of it. You know, like if I was doing more content, probably would have a lot more subscribers. And then with a lot more subscribers, there'd be a lot more people that decide they want to go into the private community to learn more. And then therefore I would have probably gotten closer to that number goal. So I know why, not beating myself up about it. And then the other thing that I didn't reach was I set a financial goal, a pretty big financial goal, as far as monthly income that I wanted to achieve, like consistent monthly income from all the various sources in which I make money. And I didn't achieve that, but I'm not really disappointed in myself about it. Like I tend to set my goals extremely high, because if I reach them too early, it doesn't feel like a challenge. So it is a very extreme goal, but it's not really about money per se. It's just about, I think it's Capricorn energy, to be honest with you. It's like, how do you measure success? It's pretty easy to measure success in dollar figures. So it's just building blocks. It's like, okay, this is where I'm at now. What's the next one? Okay, let's try to aim for that. It's not that I felt like I need that money, you know. It's just, it's easy to set financial goals because they're just numbers. So anyway, I fell short of that, but in no way do I want to come across like I'm dissatisfied with my current level of wealth. Like I'm extremely elated with it. From where I came from, like I don't even know how many years ago it was now. It's probably been 6 or 7 years now, to where I am now. It's a relatively short period of time that I have completely turned my life around, and it comes from hitting absolute rock bottom and not wanting to stay there. So who knows, maybe in 6-7 years I'll be the most healthy woman on the planet Earth because I've hit rock bottom with my health, that's for sure. So speaking of being grateful for financial abundance, that brings me to what I was talking about at the start of this video, about something that is happening to me right now that is changing my perspective on everything. So let's get into that. Brief backstory. As you know, about 1.5 years ago, I moved to Dubai. And prior to that, I was living in Melbourne with my daughter, who's a fully grown adult. So she's independent. And we had 2 pets, a dog and a cat. If you've been watching this channel for a long time, back in the days when I was doing content in Melbourne, you probably may have seen my cat, because she used to always like sit on the windowsill behind where I was filming my videos. Potentially don't know my dog Jet, but we've had Jet in our family since my daughter was in primary school. So he's about 15, 16 years old, and he's been through everything with us. And when I decided to leave, it was a hard decision, because not only was I leaving my daughter, but I was also leaving my 2 pets. And me and Jet in particular have been through a lot together, like a lot that only he and I had been through. So it was really difficult, but at the same time, I was really miserable and I was ready to live life, you know? So I made the decision to move, and my pets stayed there with my daughter. Anyway, time has gone on, and with him getting older, he's started having a few health issues. Quite some time ago, he lost his eyesight, mostly lost his eyesight, lost his hearing. But, you know, he's a happy dog despite all of that. And yeah, you wouldn't really know it. But as he gets older and older, you know, more things go wrong, and like he can't walk upstairs anymore, and you know, all that sort of stuff. And we think he now also may have dementia. So a couple of weeks ago, my daughter came to visit me here in Dubai. While she was here, we had a pet sitter looking after the animals, and the pet sitter one day messaged us and said she thinks Jet's sick, like he's kind of bringing up his food. And it was like a day before my daughter went back home. So the pet sitter just monitored him. 𝗟𝗍 went home and he was okay for a couple of days. And then all of a sudden one day she's like, there's something wrong with the dog. Like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she told me that everything was fine during the day. They were playing outside in the yard, both pets and her. And she came inside and she thought the dog followed her in, and, you know, half an hour goes by and she's realized he's not inside. So she went to look for him and he was just standing in one spot, just barking at nothing. And he was really, really hot because it was hot that day. So she brought him in and gave him water, and he just was really lethargic. So we thought maybe he was just dehydrated, but, you know, a few hours later, he's not getting better, and he couldn't stand up. Like, if she tried to put him on his legs, he would just shake and you flop back down to the ground. So she took him to the vet. Vet said it could be a few things, like it could be that he's just really disoriented. If he can't see or hear and he has dementia, he could just be really disoriented, and that's giving him anxiety and making him shake. And so she said, we'll do some blood tests. And so we do the blood test, and whilst we're waiting for the results that night, he was really bad. Like, he couldn't stand up at all. And he was just like, she sent me a video of him, and it looked like he was dying. It looked like he was dying. And immediately I jump on the computer and I book my ticket to go home to see him, because I didn't even think that I was going to make it. You know, to get home is like 14-hour flight. Like, the way he looked in that video was, I don't even know if he had 14 hours left, you know? And so I'm like talking to 𝗟𝗍, I'm like, what do I do? Like, do I book the flight now? Do we wait for the blood test results? Like, what do I do? And then she had organized with her boss to work from home so that she could look after him the next day. So that was good. And she did that. And then we got the blood test results back, and they came back saying that, you know, some things were fine, but he has elevated levels of something, and that could potentially mean cancer. And so the vet wants us to get a scan. So that scan is happening tomorrow. As I filmed this video, it's tomorrow. And in waiting for that appointment, he's just progressively getting worse, and it's just sad. It's just sad, you know, like, even no matter what that scan comes back with, whether he has cancer or not, the poor dog's like, he doesn't have a happy life anymore, you know. He's living in anxiety. He's okay if 𝗟𝗍's home, because obviously she's familiar. But if she's not home, like if she's at work, she watches him on the camera, and he's just lost, you know. And he just doesn't, like, he doesn't go and sit in his bed because he doesn't know where his bed is. He'll just flop wherever he is. And yeah, he's just lost kind of without her, and that's just not really a very good life. So as I'm filming this, I don't know the result, but I know I have to go home. And the thing is as I jumped online to book my ticket, two thoughts went through my mind. Number one thought was, I'm so grateful that I don't have to think about whether or not I can afford to pay for this ticket. In a family emergency like this, I can just jump on the next plane and go, no matter what it costs. And the second thought that came through my mind was, you guys who watch this channel, and or maybe not even watch this channel, but people in crypto came into my mind, because I know a lot of people get into crypto in the hopes of creating financial freedom. And that's true financial freedom. To have an emergency like that and to not have to think about how you're going to not have to think about finances, that's financial freedom. And of all of the people in crypto that are here because they're trying to get to that level, how many A, are here? And B, are you genuinely taking the right steps to get there? Because the thing about crypto is it's promoted in such a flashy way. Like you can make exponential money from crypto, life-changing money. You know, there's a lot of famous people that you know in crypto, you know that they have supercars or they live in penthouses or, you know, villas on the beach or they, you know what I mean? That's kind of the life that is projected in crypto because that's what's inspiring to people. And that's what makes you strive to want that for yourself. But all of that stuff is just stuff. And that's not it. That's not it. What is it is knowing that you don't have to check your credit card balance before you put something on that card. That's freedom. To be able to fund whatever is necessary for your family without having to think about it, that's freedom. That is the reason that you should be taking crypto seriously and making smart choices. And I don't know why that thought came to my mind in that moment, but I guess it was because lately, you know, there's just so many meme coin rug pulls, like just one after the other, yet people don't tend to give up on them because they think that meme coins is the thing that's going to make them rich. And I started thinking to myself, what is it going to take? You know, like one goes down, you get burned. The next one gets launched, you do that, you get burned. The next one gets launched, you do that, you get burned. What is it going to take? You know, like as a very simple example, Bitcoin, the highest market cap cryptocurrency, the hardest one to move, has done a 5x this cycle. That alone, you know, and so if you at this point in the cycle have not made any money, then I hope that gives you some perspective that Bitcoin alone could have 5x your money. And so if you are one of those people that's in this desperate situation to improve your life and you are gambling essentially on really dumb decisions to try and get ahead, know that that is what the bull market is designed to do to you. The bull market doesn't mean you are automatically going to make money. Like it's not easy to make money in the bull market. The bull market will play on your greed, and you would have seen it on so many channels on YouTube saying, oh, there's not enough of a multiple in Bitcoin. A 5x in a year is not enough of a multiple. You know, compare that to any other financial market. It's exponential. And instead of being responsible like that and taking the time to learn a skill or, you know, whether that skill is trading or just long-term investing or whatever it is, instead of doing that, if you're the kind of person that is jumping on meme coin after meme coin and just getting completely wrecked in the time that Bitcoin alone has done a 5x, then I hate to tell it to you, but I think you're already fucking this up. If you're thinking that you could be one of those people that puts $100 into a meme coin, turns it into $1 million, then you don't understand that the people that happen to are the exception. They're not the rule. The people who have that happen likely have insider knowledge, get tokens for free in exchange for marketing them to their communities, or probably are the creators of the coin themselves. They're the people that walk away with exponential money, not the average Joe who heard about it on X and went and put in $100 hoping to turn it into $1 million. Like, that's the exception. That's not the rule. If that's what you're doing, then you are 100% wasting your opportunity in this bull market. And so I guess my parting message to you is, if you had a family member, somebody that you loved that lived halfway across the world and tomorrow there was an emergency and they needed you in an instant, would you be able to get there without having to think about how you're going to pay for it? Because if not, I really hope you're making smart decisions with this cycle.